Good morning. We're going to get started. Thank you guys so much for coming out this morning for a very special announcement. I say a couple of announcements. So, to get it kicked off, I'm going to introduce to you Food City President and CEO, Mr. Steve Smith.
Well, thank you, Kevin. Let me say good morning to everybody. And before we get started with these special announcements, let me just take a minute to, digress a little bit and thank our Food City team here at the Distribution Center. Buddy Honaker and Shane Estep are our two managers here. But they've got a team of more than 900 folks behind these gates up here that over the last year and a half have really done some phenomenal work to make sure that we have been able to feed our communities and take care of our stores. And to give you an example, last week alone, they shipped out over 200 more trucks, which means plus 200 more trucks coming in than 2 years ago. And it's pretty phenomenal what they've been able to accomplish. And of course, they're like most of the rest of the businesses. We're challenged with a little bit of help shortages as well, but they get the job done. I just want to say thank you to the men and women that work up here. They are indeed the heartbeat of the Food City organization. You know, moving on to the business at hand, about a week ago, the community of Hurley really faced some devastating rains and floods in the Guesses Fork area. You know, the Virginia Department of Emergency Management says it'll be many weeks before all the power is fully restored in that community, and maybe as long as a year before the drinking water is restored. You know, our neighbors in Hurley certainly need us. Now, last week we were quick to the switch and were able to get a truckload of our water over there. As a matter of fact, we couldn't get the 18-wheeler into Hurley because of the road situation. We had to unload it at one of our stores and get a flatbed truck to take the water to that area. We've also partnered with a lot of the churches and a lot of the community organizations over there to use our Grundy store and our Van Sant store as drop-off areas for non-perishable and cleaning supplies over there. And last Friday, we kicked off a fundraising in our Tri-Cities Division stores, which go to Greenville, Rogersville, north through Southwest Virginia and into Eastern Kentucky, to let our customers participate, either to round up their grocery bill or to make whatever donation that they wanted to. Now, I'm proud to say through 4 days, we've raised over $48,000 at our Food City stores, and we've got almost another week to go with that. And to our friends in the media, WCYB, thank you very much for your partnership and helping us get that word out to our customers that the folks in Buchanan County are in real need. Now, 100% of these dollars go to the Southwest Virginia United Way, who has been deemed the fiscal agent by the Virginia Department of Emergency Management. Now, for those of you who know Travis Staten and the United Way, they do great work here in Southwest Virginia. They've done this work through the Glade tornadoes that we had and other emergencies that have taken place. And I know that the folks in Hurley will be in good hands with United Way on the job. Now, we believe strongly in giving back to our communities, because only will our company succeed when our communities succeed. And it's my pleasure to introduce somebody else who is a great community partner and a good friend of mine. He and his company are always there when there's a need, and that's Jerry Caldwell, the General Manager and Vice President of Bristol Motor Speedway. Jerry, come up here for a special announcement, my friend.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you, Steve. Good morning. Thanks for joining us here today. You know, we're busy down at Bristol Motor Speedway getting ready, obviously, for a couple of weeks from now. But when you hear of the devastation that took place in Hurley, Virginia, and then we are so blessed at Bristol Motor Speedway to have great partners like Steve Smith and the folks at Food City who are always there to raise their hand and step up whenever our neighbors are in need. So we heard of the devastation in Hurley, and then we saw Steve and Food City folks immediately step up, and we called them quickly and said, what is it we can do to help out? And what we found out is they're going to be in great need of fresh drinking water. So we said, yes, let's buy a tractor trailer full of water, partnering with Food City, and send that up to our friends and neighbors in Hurley. You know, there's nothing more necessary, air and water, you know, that we have to be able to survive. And when you hear of what's happened up in Hurley and what they're going to be dealing with for a while and what we've all dealt with for the past couple of years, you really are appreciative and thankful for just those basic necessities of being able to be with your family and your friends and have water and electricity. So we wanted to step up and be able to help out. So we're blessed to be able to do that. We'll be sending a truck up to Hurley, Virginia, again, with our partners at Food City. We'll also be welcoming, we have fans coming from all over the country in just a week or two here in this great region, and they are very giving and generous people. So we're also inviting all of our guests that'll be coming to the races to bring cleaning supplies and non-perishable items to drop off. We'll have 2 different locations on our property at our guest welcome villages to be able to accept that, and then we'll be able to get that up to our neighbors in Hurley. Let's all keep them in your thoughts and prayers. They're, again, we've all gone through some tough times the past couple of years, and they're going to continue to go through that for a little while. So they'll be in our prayers, and we're grateful to be able to help out and support them. Again, so thankful for Steve and the folks at Food City for their leadership and always being great neighbors. Thanks so much for being here today.
Thank you, Jerry. Thank you for your partnership, and thank you for stepping up. You know, it's my pleasure to introduce one of my teammates here, and it's a guy that I work with shoulder to shoulder, and I'll tell you, over the last 18 months, he's been one of the most creative people that I've ever known in keeping us in product supply and keeping our communities fed. And he's pulled rabbits out of a hat right and left, and I'm proud to say that he's got a couple of rabbits he's going to pull out of his hat here in just a few minutes. Ross Purdy is our Vice President of Center Store. Ross works with all our great vendor partners, and he's got some special announcements to make of some product donations here. Ross, turn it over to you.
Thank you, Steve. As you guys have already said, you know, Hurley is an area that is hard hit with disaster, and you know, my job in a nutshell is to take care of the customers shopping in our stores. So no different than the customers coming into the stores, we put together an effort around trying to get some product donations from the supplier community to take care of those customers in Hurley as well. So I'm proud to say that this morning, with a few more donations coming in, we've now secured about $43,000 worth of retail product from the vendor community. One of those vendors is here with us today. Tyson Larson with Cardinal Tissue is the operations manager. Has graciously donated a full truckload of paper towels and bathroom tissue to that community. Thank you, Tyson, for the work. In addition to that, in addition to Cardinal, Del Monte on some canned fruits and vegetables, Jif peanut butter, Nestle, Shed's margarine, Kimberly-Clark, Boost energy drink, and Energizer have all contributed to the $43,000 worth of product that we've secured so far. With that, we'll turn it back over to Kevin.
Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Ross, as well. Just a great thing there. Also want to take just a moment and introduce my colleague, get the opportunity to work with Israel O'Quinn. Not only is he a member of our Food City team, but also a delegate of Virginia. So, Israel, come make a few comments.
Well, thank you, Kevin, and thanks to each of you for coming out this morning for this exciting announcement. As Kevin said, I get the honor of representing a large swath of Southwest Virginia in the General Assembly, and also get to be a part of Food City's team. It's one of the benefits of being a citizen legislator in Virginia. And you know, when we go to Richmond, we have a small group, but we're sticking together and we're working for things that are good for all of Southwest Virginia. And while I don't represent Buchanan County, anything that Buchanan County needs is good for the rest of Southwest Virginia, and that's what we're there for. And that's not all that dissimilar to what happens when we have a natural disaster in Southwest Virginia. And we've had our fair share of them over the years with tornadoes and floods and windstorms and ice storms and all sorts of other things. And so here today we have great community partners like Bristol Motor Speedway, who are fantastic friends. We have people like Cardinal and Tyson and others stepping up to do the same thing, to do what's good for our neighbors over in Hurley, and certainly we appreciate that very much. They're going to be dealing with this for a while, as was alluded to earlier, and it's not going to be an easy situation for them to get through, but that's what we're here for. It's all one big community here in Southwest Virginia. I'm honored to be able to work in that community and to be able to also represent a big part of our community. So again, thanks to each of you for coming out today, and I will turn it back over to Kevin.
Again, thank you guys. A quick shout out, Becky Cox, thank you very much from Bristol Motor Speedway, who helps put this together, and Tammy Baumgardner as well. So thank you guys very much. We will now have questions, interviews, anybody that you guys want, whether it be Steve or Jerry, Ross, Israel, they'll all be open. So we'll take those now. Thank you guys for coming out this morning.
Can you just talk about everybody's ready, the decision to do this? I know you guys are heavily involved in the community.
Well, we are, and we knew firsthand what had happened in Hurley early in the game, and we knew that water was precious, so we immediately got a truckload of water over there. But we heard from our customers, and our customers really wanted to participate. And one of the best ways we can help them participate is to let them round up their grocery order or make a $1, $3, or $5 donation at our Food City stores. So we kicked that off 4 days ago. It'll run for another week or so, and we'd encourage our customers to help the folks in Hurley that have been devastated, literally without power and without water for days and weeks on end. And the prognosis is not great for the power, maybe another couple, 3 weeks, and water could be as much as a year. So anything we can do to help these folks is the right thing to do.
To get a donation from the companies, that's big.
Well, it is. We kicked it off with $10,000 from Food City, but even more important, our vendors and manufacturers that supply us, they've made donations of product and cash of over $40,000 as well. So we'll be working with the United Way of Southwest Virginia to get that product, get that money to them, and be able to get that directly to the people in Hurley that need that.
I walked up earlier when you were speaking before all this started. I don't know, did you say you had been up there to see what's going on?
I have not. I'm actually a Buchanan County native, so I'm pretty familiar with the terrain in Buchanan County, and obviously very familiar with Hurley. My brother-in-law, sister-in-law live there. So we know firsthand how a torrential rain can come down those mountains and make those creeks rise in just a short period of time, and how devastating water can be. So many houses destroyed, so many houses displaced from the foundation, and unfortunately the loss of life of one individual in that community. And we just want to help them get back on their feet, help them get back to some normalcy in their life. It's been a tough year and a half with COVID, and now to have this happen in a community is just, it's almost hard to fathom.
And last thing, just to speak about your partnership with Bristol Motor Speedway stepping up.
Well, to see Bristol Motor Speedway and know Jerry and know the team there and see how they've stepped up to help the folks in Hurley, and it's not unlike what they do with other community efforts. They're a great corporate citizen and a great partner for us to deal with, and we're so proud to have them here today.
Can you tell me how people who need water and toilet tissue, where do they go to get that?
Well, right now there are people on the ground in Hurley that we're working with, whether it's the churches up there or the local folks, the authorities in Buchanan County, and they've got stations set up. We get the trucks to those drop-off stations and drop the product off up there. So I'm sure they distribute that water and some of the cleaning supplies. Again, we've got folks, our managers and folks on the ground to coordinate that in Buchanan County.
Talk about BMS's decision to get involved here and to help out this badly affected area.
Well, it was an easy decision. We are blessed with having great partners like Food City, and they are always some of the first to jump in whenever there's devastation in our region, and they were in this case. So it was easy for us to call them up. We do it all the time and say, how can we partner and help out this group or this area? And it was a pretty easy decision to say one of the necessities is going to be water for a while. So let's get a truck of water up there. And we're thankful that we're able to do that and help out. We're also thankful to be able to have all these very generous race fans coming in next week and ask them to join us in supporting the folks up in Hurley by dropping off cleaning supplies or non-perishable items during race week at one of our guest welcome villages. And we have very generous race fans, and I know they're going to step up and also want to help out our neighbors in Hurley.
Do y'all give them an announcement about it, or how do they find out?
We're sending information out. Today, once we made this announcement, we'll be sending information out to our race fans, inviting them to join us in support of our neighbors up in Hurley.
Will there be like donation barrels around the track area? Is that where?
Yeah, we're going to have two different areas, one on the front side of the property and the back side of the property. They're called our guest welcome villages, and race fans can drop things off at those guest welcome villages. We'll have folks there to be able to accept those donations.